You were never meant to live like everyone else. And deep down, you know it. If you were meant to live an average life, this video wouldn't be making you uncomfortable right now. If you were meant to follow the same routine, the same excuses, the same limits as everyone around you, something inside you wouldn't feel restless. That restlessness isn't confusion. It's your potential screaming, because you're living below it. Look around. Most people wake up tired, live distracted, complain all day, and go to sleep hoping tomorrow will magically be better. They call it normal. They call it life. But normal is the fastest way to die inside without anyone noticing. You weren't built for that. You weren't built to just survive. You weren't built to just get by. You weren't built to sit quietly while life passes you by and someone else takes the opportunities you were too scared to chase. You were built to separate, to be the first millionaire in your family. The first one who didn't settle. The first one who broke the pattern everyone else accepted. And let's be honest, that idea scares you. Because being different sounds good until you realize what it costs. It costs comfort. It costs approval. It costs fitting in. When you decide to be different, people don't clap. They question you. They doubt you. They wait for you to fail so they can feel better about staying the same. That's the price of greatness. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they don't want to be misunderstood. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to walk alone. But every person who ever became great walked alone at first. Think about it. If you want a life most people will never have, you cannot live like most people do. You can't think like them. You can't move like them. You can't make decisions based on comfort like them. Average habits create average lives, and average lives create regret. You say you want more money, more freedom, more respect, but your habits say something else. Your habits say comfort. Your habits say delay. Your habits say later. And later is the most dangerous word in existence. Later turns into years. Years turn into regret. And regret turns into anger you can't explain. That's why so many people are bitter. They didn't fail because they couldn't. They failed because they never fully committed. Being that 1% isn't about luck. It's about standards. The 1% wake up when others snooze. They work when others relax. They learn when others scroll. They invest when others spend. Not because they're better, but because they decided to be different. And decision is everything. The moment you decide to stop living like everyone else, your life splits in two directions. One path is familiar, comfortable, safe, crowded. The other path is uncertain, lonely, demanding, but it leads somewhere. Most people choose familiar pain over unfamiliar growth. They choose a life they hate because at least they understand it. But you're not most people. You feel it when you watch others waste time. You feel it when you see potential being buried under excuses. You feel it when you imagine a future where you never tried. That feeling is dangerous because it won't go away. You can distract yourself. You can numb it. You can silence it temporarily. But one day, it will come back louder. Usually when it's too late. So let me say this clearly. If you want to be rich, if you want to be respected, if you want to be the person your family looks up to, if you want to walk into any room and know you can handle whatever comes your way, you have to become someone most people are unwilling to become. You have to be disciplined when no one is watching. You have to work when results aren't visible yet. You have to push when motivation is gone. Because motivation is temporary. Discipline is identity. Anyone can feel inspired for a day. Very few can stay committed for years. And wealth, greatness, dominance, they don't come from short bursts of effort. They come from long periods of uncomfortable consistency. That's why not everyone makes it. And that's okay. Not everyone is supposed to. But if you're watching this, you don't want an average ending. You want a story that scares people who are too afraid to try. You want to be the example. The proof, the one who changed everything. That comes with pressure. That comes with responsibility. That comes with moments where quitting feels logical. But the person who can take anything life throws at them isn't born. They're built through suffering, built through discipline, built through choosing growth when comfort is easier. Becoming rich isn't just about money, it's about control. Control over your time, control over your choices, control over your future. And control only belongs to people who can control themselves. If you can't say no to distractions, you'll never say yes to greatness. If you can't delay gratification, you'll always be chasing short-term pleasure while long-term success slips away. That's why most people stay stuck. They want the reward without the sacrifice. But sacrifice is the entry fee. You don't become exceptional by accident. You become exceptional by design. Every day, you're either becoming closer to the life you want or further away from it. There is no neutral. So ask yourself, not emotionally, honestly, are your current habits creating the future you say you want? If not, something has to die. The old routines, the weak excuses, version of you that keeps choosing easy because you can't build a 1% life with 99% behavior. And if you're serious, truly serious, about being different, about being great, about being the one who made it, then this is where it starts. Not with motivation, not with hype, but with a decision that doesn't change tomorrow. A decision to stop living like everyone else. Once you accept that you weren't meant to live like everyone else, the next challenge hits you hard. You realize how alone this path really is. Nobody prepares you for that part. Everyone loves the idea of being great, rich, respected, unstoppable. Nobody talks about the silence that comes with it. The silence when your phone stops ringing. The silence when friends don't understand your goals. The silence when you're grinding at night while the world is sleeping. That silence is not punishment. It's confirmation. It means you've stepped off the crowded road. It means you're no longer moving with the herd. And the herd always mocks what it doesn't understand. When you choose a different life, people don't attack you directly. They joke. They doubt. They say things like, "Don't take life too seriously," or "Money isn't everything," or "Why are you working so hard?" What they're really saying is, "Please don't change, because your change exposes my comfort." You have to be strong enough to hear that without slowing down, because the moment you let other people's limits define your effort, you've already lost. Greatness requires a certain level of emotional isolation, not loneliness. Isolation. The ability to move without constant validation. The ability to believe in a future no one else can see yet. That's rare. That's why so few make it. Wealth isn't built by people who need approval. It's built by people who can sit with uncertainty and still execute. While others wait for permission, you move. While others wait for confidence, you act. Confidence is built after action, not before. The world tells you to find yourself. That's weak advice. You don't find yourself. You build yourself. Brick by brick, habit by habit, decision by decision. Every disciplined action is a brick. Every sacrifice is cement. And every time you choose the hard thing over the easy thing, you reinforce the foundation. People think becoming rich is about intelligence. It's not. Plenty of smart people stay broke forever. Becoming rich is about tolerance. Tolerance for discomfort. Tolerance for boredom. Tolerance for delayed rewards. The ability to invest effort today for a payoff years from now. That's a muscle. And most people never train it. They want fast results, quick wins, overnight success. But overnight success is built on years of unseen discipline. And if you're not willing to be unseen, you're not ready to be unstoppable. The 1% don't rise because they're special. They rise because they stay consistent longer than everyone else. They stay focused when others get distracted. They stay patient when others panic. They stay hungry when others get comfortable. Comfort is the real enemy. Not failure, not hardship. Comfort. Comfort dulls ambition. Comfort softens discipline. Comfort convinces you that tomorrow will always be there. It won't. Time doesn't wait, and regret is heavier than effort. You either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of knowing you could have been more. There is no third option. Being different means your schedule will look strange to average people. Your priorities will look extreme. Your standards will look unrealistic. Good. That's how you know you're on the right path. Average people create average standards to feel normal. Exceptional people create high standards to feel aligned. And standards dictate outcomes. If your standards are low, your life will be low. If your standards are high, your life has no choice but to rise. That's not motivation, that's law. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be relentless. Relentless in showing up. Relentless in learning. Relentless in correcting mistakes instead of making excuses. Every setback is feedback. Every failure is data. The only real failure is quitting. And quitting is always disguised as being realistic. Don't fall for that lie. Realistic is what keeps people trapped. Vision is what sets people free. You don't need to see the entire path. You need to trust the direction. Step by step, day by day. By now, the message should be clear. You don't rise by accident. You don't become different by wishing. And you don't build a great life by thinking like everyone else. You build it by becoming someone else. And that transformation doesn't happen in public. It happens in silence, in repetition, in the moments nobody applauds. That's where identity is forged. Most people wait for confidence before they act. But confidence is a result, not a requirement. You don't feel strong and then lift the weight. You lift the weight until you become strong. The same applies to life. You don't wait to feel ready to pursue greatness. You pursue it until readiness becomes irrelevant. The difference between average and exceptional is not intelligence or luck. It's follow-through. It's finishing what you start. It's staying consistent when excitement fades. That's why most people never separate. They love beginnings. New plans, new motivation, new ideas. But they hate the middle. The grind, the repetition, the monotony. That's where champions are built. If you can fall in love with the process, not the applause, you become unstoppable. Strong people don't avoid discomfort. They use it. They understand that pressure reveals character, that resistance builds strength, that pain is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Every time you push through what's hard, you upgrade your identity. You become someone who can be trusted, someone who doesn't fold, someone who executes regardless of mood. That's what separates the 1%. They don't rely on feelings. They rely on systems. They don't chase motivation. They enforce discipline, and discipline compounds. Slowly at first, then all at once. You might not see results immediately, but one day you look back and realize the gap between you and everyone else has become massive. Not because you were better, but because you stayed longer. You stayed focused while others quit. You stayed hungry while others settled. You stayed consistent while others got distracted. That's dominance. Quiet, relentless, unapologetic. Becoming the first millionaire in your family doesn't start with money. It starts with mindset, with refusing to inherit limitations, with deciding that the past ends with you, that the excuses stop with you, that the cycle breaks with you. That's a heavy responsibility, but it's also a privilege. Because not everyone has the awareness to see beyond average. If you can see it, you're obligated to chase it. And chasing it means sacrifice. It means saying no to things that feel good now for things that will feel incredible later. It means being misunderstood. It means being doubted. It means sometimes standing alone. But remember this, every person you admire once stood alone too. Every great story starts with someone being different, and difference is always uncomfortable at first. Execution is where this becomes real. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. You don't need a perfect plan, you need action. You need to identify the habits that are keeping you average and destroy them, one by one. Replace them with discipline, with structure, with standards. Decide what kind of man you are and act like him daily, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because feelings are temporary, identity is permanent. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. So raise them. Raise how early you wake up. Raise how hard you work. Raise what you tolerate. Raise what you expect from yourself. And don't wait for permission. Nobody is coming to tell you it's time. Nobody is coming to validate your ambition. The moment you realize that, you become free. free to build, free to fail forward, free to dominate on your own terms. This path will test you. It will demand patience. It will demand consistency. It will demand sacrifice. But it will give you something most people never experience: self-respect. The kind that can't be taken away. The kind that doesn't depend on opinions. The kind that comes from knowing you didn't quit on yourself. And that self-respect turns into confidence. And that confidence turns into presence. And that presence changes how the world responds to you. Not because you demand it, but because you've earned it. This is how you stop living like everyone else. This is how you become that 1%. Not through noise, not through hype, but through daily execution. Day after day, when no one is watching, when no one cares, when quitting feels easier. That's where it's decided. So decide, not emotionally, not temporarily, permanently. Decide that average is no longer acceptable. Decide that comfort is no longer your priority. Decide that you will become the person who can handle anything life throws at them. Because once you do, nothing can stop you. And one day, people will ask how you did it. And you'll know the truth. You didn't get lucky. You didn't wait. You didn't settle. You refused to live like everyone else.